What up? What up? What up? What up, everybody? It's your girl, Nikita, with Miss Hollywood. You tuned to another episode of Hollywood the podcast. That's my special guest coming up here shortly. That is her favorite, her favorite thing of all
That's my
time.
special
Oh man, absolutely. That is so but everybody for thank you for tuning in for Facebook. YouTube page, like listen. We moving up in the game. So I was definitely moving up in the game. As you can see, I got the merch, I got the banner. Like I am taking this to another level, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm really curious. I don't know. This platform is was created for to bring people together with this thing called entertainment. It's just it's everybody is treated equally. The egos go out the door. The just everything in general just goes out the door. You're wiped clean of literally all aspects of everything. You're just human on this show. And yeah, last time I had an impromptu type situation, which was kind of it was dope because at first I didn't know that I was going to be spending 3 hours or 3.5 hours on Instagram live, first and foremost the other day with Ramses. I be fucking up names, so excuse me and excuse my language. But it's my show, but it is what it is. But yeah, I had an impromptu like uh interview because it was at the last minute. Jay Sharp, shout out to Jay Sharp. He hit me up and he was like, "Yeah, I need you to come in as the co-host for me or with me on Instagram to interview and also have it on your podcast." He allowed me to record it. It's going to be coming up here shortly. He allowed me to record it. He allowed me to come up on and have a conversation about it. And I don't know if he saved the video, but like I said, I have the audio from it, and which was the last episode, which is episode 90. Shout out to everybody that was there. But yes, 3 hours and 30 minutes of conversation. And it was great because I never thought that I could speak. Like the more that I do my podcast, the more I get these conversations to go three um over 3 hours. What up, Jeff? Tapped in. You see how things are changing, Jeff? Jeff, like this is different. But yeah, I was telling my story of having an impromptu um interview with Ramses. I don't know how. Listen, please forgive me for the not knowing how to say my word or your name correctly, because sometimes it just gets the best of me. But yes, I had an impromptu interview with he's the former A&R for Rockefeller Records. So shout out to Rockefeller. And he did, oh my God, he did the rock symbol and so on and so forth. But he went on to talk about his what he's currently working on, which is a thing called Life Comics. It's a comic book with all black superheroes. Do you understand me? All African American superheroes. All of them black across the board. He has the book will I believe the book will come out November the 3rd. And then he has the app available as well, and it's available on Android and it's also available on Apple. So if you have an Apple product, you can download it now. If you have a Android product, you can definitely download it. We're just going to be waiting on our guests here shortly. They will be pulling up on your girl. You feel me? Ow. And shout out to Roadcaster. They are I like to speak stuff into existence. So I'm showing love to Rode because they are definitely going to be a sponsor of mine soon. Because I use their equipment, everything. Well, not everything, but I'm want to switch over, get my microphone, get my microphone situated. And of course, yes, can't wait as well. I have another interview after this at 5 p.m. with DJ Nasty Ness. Oh my God. Like, I'm bringing legends up here, y'all. It's not. I went from local to global. You feel me? Oh, bars. So yes, you can catch me live again at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today with DJ Nasty Ness. I can't wait to interview him. He's like, well, I'll talk about him here shortly. One of my special guests has arrived, in which we will pull her in here in just one moment. I am waiting for my other special guest to also arrive because I want to pull him up because I want to, give him the I guess the intro that he deserves as well as she deserves, because this is the first time that I've ever had two guests on my show that are legends. Like, you guys don't understand the capacity of how my heart is right now, and the way it just wants to explode, and it's just mind-boggling for me. And then, like I said, later on I have another legend, which is DJ Nasty Ness. He he also played a part in Sir Mix-a-Lot's record, My Posse on Broadway, and so on and so forth. But we'll get into that as well. But um let me get my notes together, because earlier I was like, man, I'm really nervous. I don't, when you're doing stuff for so long, it's cool, but when you have multiple legends in the building, you just be like, okay, well, how am I gonna act for real? Even though I've talked to them before, and but this is gonna be a very interesting conversation, because not only are they legends, a conversation was had. If you haven't watched Sweet LD, her episode, if you haven't watched that, you guys have to tune into that, because she simply explains um a, a, I guess I don't want to say an encounter, but a situation where she was in the process of meeting, who is also our guest today, um Chubb Rock. And so that whole story led us to where we're here today. So we're gonna get her up here right now. We have the legendary 1/3 of the group member, Oaktowns. Let me get this right, because I know you corrected me, and I was like, oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Oaktowns 357. How are you doing
Yes.
today, Miss Sweet LD?
Hey, happy fingers. And my horn, my favorite horn. I'm doing good. How are you, sugar?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Everything
Good.
is everything right now, because it's it's, I can't really explain it, but
Uh-huh.
without being excited, because the whole situation just came to me, and it's just how crazy the universe works, because like I said before, you were on the show and you had stated, you can tell them, let them know what you had stated and why we're here today.
Okay. So thank you for having me back. Thank you for the first opportunity to be on your show about a week ago, I believe it was.
Yes.
And so just in chatting, I think I can't remember what your question was, or it might have been that you mentioned you were going to have Chubb Rock on your show.
Yes.
Okay. So, in mentioning that, it reminded me of an encounter I had with him, an experience, if you want to say,
Mhm.
that I had with him in, I believe, Charlotte, North Carolina. And I
Mhm.
just simply shared that I'm a hugger because of my experience in the industry before, and the fact that Oaktown's 357 could not really engage or talk to other artists when we were on tour. When I see them now, present day, I'm like ready to embrace. And
Right.
so we were backstage at this show in North Carolina, and Chubb Rock was there. It was myself, Chubb Rock, Lady of Rage, Dana Dane. Dang, it's a few others that I know that were there, but I can't remember right now. And so I wanted to go and embrace him, and he stiff armed me. So he put his hand up, like, you know. So I was like, oh, I was taken aback a bit, like, oh, okay, because I know sometimes people don't want to hug, and then I don't know what other situation could have been taking place that evening, but I was like, oh, okay, that's how we're doing it. But that's neither here nor there. I didn't think anything else of it. I just thought maybe, we'll see each other, and I can tell him who I am, and he will, he'll get it and be like, oh, okay.
Right.
So yeah, we have since talked since your show, and so we clicked.
Really?
Mhm.
Oh my goodness. How okay, so yeah, we have to definitely have that conversation as well when he comes up here. So
Mhm.
how so we can I know we've had this conversation before as far as like how entertainment was entered into your life, but can you give
Mhm.
us a little refresher for those that were not here listening now?
Sure. Entertainment entered my life in a very I guess just natural way. My family loves music, and
Mhm.
I actually have a cousin who's in the group of. She was a member of Graham Central Station. So before Larry Graham was Larry Graham, he was playing with Sly and the Family Stone, and
Mhm.
then he decided to branch off, as best I can remember, because I was a child. He decided to branch off and create his own group or band, and that was Graham Central Station. So my first introduction into the entertainment industry was having that group over to my home, because my mom and Chocolate Banks, Patrice Chocolate Banks, who's in the group of Graham Central Station, they're cousins. We're all cousins. And not the kind where you say, that's my adopted cousin, that's my cuz. We're biologically related. So
Right.
she was often at the house. We lived in Oakland at the time.
Okay.
And she was always over at the house, which means Larry was at the house, which means the other band members were there. And it was always people in the 70s. You just kind of was at people's houses. That's just what you did. So that
Right.
was my first introduction. The second one, she would always take me to the studio with her too when they rehearsed stuff like that. But the second introduction was when I actually met MC Hammer, and he was not Hammer at the time. He was
Right.
Stanley Kirk Burrell.
Right.
So it was very, what do you call, generic or organic, I guess.
Yes,
And
or
I introduced myself to him, and I wanted him to show me how to do the Cabbage Patch the way he did it. So once we met back up, then he invited me to be in a video, and that was my second introduction into the music industry. Yeah.
wow. Yeah,
Mhm.
you had mentioned that as well, and then
Yeah.
you said you just wanted to be in the video.
I mean, literally, it's like that was the ultimate, because video girls at that time, they weren't video vixens. They were
Right.
just the cute girls in the video. So
Right.
I was like, oh, he want me to be the cute girl. I can do that. Let me get my outfit together.
Right.
Um, and that did not happen. So yeah. Yeah, unbeknownst to me, he had other plans. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but that was my second organic, generic introduction into the music industry.
And then
Mhm.
you you just wanted to go, and then you said you went to the club. He asked you
Yeah,
to
we
be go
we
ahead.
had met outside of Silks after Silks was closing. It was a three floor club, 3 layer club. Girl, look, got food on my brain, but it was a 3 layer. Geez, it was a club with 3 floors. Okay, not 3 layer. But anyway, um, the Cabbage Patch had just come out, and I saw him and Ace just killing it. So I went and met him afterwards at a gas station not too far from the club. And I just said, hey, can you show me? He was like, sure. Kind of, sort of sure, but we exchanged numbers and met back a couple weeks later at Silks and just hung out for the most part. We just danced, we talked, that was it. It was
Mm.
myself and all my girlfriends, about 5 or 6 of us. And then it was he and Ace. And I think he had the DJs there. I'm not sure. But yeah,
Ace is
Ace was one of the backup dancers. So it was myself, Terrible T, Lil Pete, and Ace. He was the only guy.
gotcha,
Hmm.
gotcha. And so he taught you that Cabbage Patch and said, "Hey, you wanna be in the video?"
Girl, yes. He's like, you want to be in my video, and he showed me his album. I think the first album he was the Holy Ghost Boy,
Yep.
I can't remember the name of the album, but yeah, it was the Holy Ghost Boy. He showed me that album cover. Might have been 2 album covers, but either way, he was like, "Yeah, I'll be doing a video soon. I want you and your girl to be in the video. Would y'all like to do that?" Sure.
Oh, yes.
I mean, who's gonna say no? This is
Right,
86, 87. Who's really gonna say no to that? Because the videos were becoming really popular by then.
right,
So,
right.
yeah, I want to be in the video. Yeah, I want to be on MTV or whatever, video jukebox. Sure. Let me be cute. What we gonna wear? What we supposed to wear? What's the color? All that kind of stuff. And I just envisioned myself. At the time, we didn't know the name of the song. We didn't know the theme of none of the story of the song. I'm gonna say me. I don't know what Carla envisioned because she was the other girl he invited to be in it. But I
Okay.
envisioned myself around the pool somewhere in a cute little outfit. I know it's funny, but it's the truth. That's what I envisioned. When he said that, that's what I envisioned. I had no idea we would literally be working, dancing and such in the video. But yeah, I mean, it was fun.
Mm.
It was fun. Yeah.
Actually working because it ended up being, like you said, something that was consistent. You guys had to go to, what is it? I'm not
Rehearsals.
yeah, rehearsals, and then it started to become something that you was just like, so when is this video coming out?"
What is this about? Yes. What are you doing? Where is the video people? When are we doing it? Where are we doing it? But yeah, we practiced and rehearsed and learned choreography and created choreography and had a whole show done. And we were performing around the Bay Area and also on radio shows before the video was ever done.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
Yeah.
interesting. It was interesting.
Wow.
Yeah. And so you have to explain to your family who this guy is. Who is this MC Hammer? What are y'all doing? So what does that mean? You know what I'm saying? Well, why are you going out there for hours at a time? Is he paying you?
Right.
Yeah, all of that had to be addressed. My
But
mom was not for it. My brothers were not for it. Who is this, N word and who does
oh,
he think he is? And nobody knew him. Nobody knew him. I met him at Silks. So I say yes to a video, but now I'm going to Fremont, which, like I said, is another city in the Bay Area, to rehearse. So what does rehearsals mean? Who is this guy? Why are you practicing? What y'all practicing for? So you got to answer all those questions. Yeah,
right,
all that.
right, especially if you're
Yeah,
taking if you're
he
taking my
wasn't on
time
the
across the
radio.
board.
I mean, so
It was
nobody
just
knew.
nobody knew, and then, like you said, he wasn't MC Hammer then.
No,
He was the what is it?
Holy Ghost boy.
The Holy Ghost boy. Yes. Yes. I'm like, "Wait, how did that?" I never knew that was his backstory as far as him being called that. So Imma have to get him up here eventually and talk about that story.
That
Um,
would be very interesting.
maybe I can, well, if you're up to it and we do, connect, maybe we can connect. Maybe I am the connector. Like, this is something that I need to
That's a good position to have.
It
The
is.
connector.
It is,
It really
especially
is.
if you're able to meet on a fair ground, if that makes
True.
sense.
True.
So this is what we're doing today. Once we have our other special guest arrive, I don't know exactly where. Let me see where this gentleman lies.
And I'm on time. I love that I'm on time because
I know, right? I know, right? No, we're not gonna. I ain't gonna. I ain't gonna say nothing. But
target to
until
the
then,
party.
you can also talk about what you're currently working on. I know you are a fitness guru and you got some things in the works right now. And I know you mentioned last time your second book as well. So if you can elaborate a little bit on what you've been doing after departed from Oaktowns 357.
Well, that journey took a little while before I got here, but after the group was disbanded, because I wanted to be clear, we did not leave Old Towns 357. Um, it was a very interesting journey,
Mhm.
but we were disbanded and we went our separate ways without really any discussion as to what we would do
Mhm.
going further. So
Mhm.
we didn't come together and say, hey, let's stay together and make this work. We just kind of went our separate ways. So I stayed with my mom for a little while, moved to LA, and then we eventually moved to Texas. And so since being here, I've been here since 99. I've married, I had two extra children.
Yes, and which we
Um,
saw last on her episode.
extra, extra. So I already had a son. My son, when I moved here, I think he was 14 or 15, something like that. He's 36. He's got two children. And then I met my husband, and we have two younger children. And he had two children from a previous marriage. So, total of five children. I went to school occasionally. I worked occasionally. While in LA, I got my cosmetology license. So, just doing life, trying to um, understand who I was and what I wanted to do. And then I moved here, and like I said, we married. We've been together 20 years, married 20 years. And so as of today, uh, since you want to say fitness guru, I'm working on that title. But I've been teaching Zumba since 2009.
Okay.
And now I teach fitness dance, which is just my own format, whatever I feel like doing to whatever song I pick. I do that. I did publish a book a couple of years ago, working on the second one. The first book is called Conditional Truths, but
Yes.
it'll be a book of poems and short stories. Second book is called Left Me on Red. And continuing in the theme of health and wellness, I am with an online shopping club, and that is called Melaleuca. And so it's amazing because it supports health and, health and wealth, physically, mentally, and financially. So all those things have come to fruition now, and it just ties it all together. So I'm using my poetry, I'm still dancing, and I'm into health and wellness. It's all wrapped up in a nice little bow.
Because I saw you on your Instagram page dancing, and I was like, "Oh man, she's I wish I would try to start
Which
dancing."
which which is Instagram page? Because I told you I'm trying to manage three.
I think it
Child,
was
listen.
when you learned how to do was it with the handbag? I think it was in the
Oh,
park.
yeah. I was redoing it. So
Okay.
I had gone to this area where it's in Arlington where I charge my car. I have a Tesla. So I took it over there to charge it, and I just went for a walk and went live. And people were asking me to do moves from the videos. And I was like, let me see if I can do that backdrop, that we did in Yeah. And I was actually able to do it.
And yeah.
Oh my God, I was able to do it. So it felt good because I was able to do it and not fall and hurt myself and, bust my behind live.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I just feel good. I mean, I'm 57 years old. I'm feeling pretty good. So I try to engage with the people a little bit
You said
on
you're
my Instagram.
57 years
Huh?
of you said 57?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes, ma'am. 57. So
Wow.
yeah, Instagram has been good to me. Facebook has been good to me. It can be annoying to have social media, but so far I've met a lot of people who just are excited to know that Oaktown's 357 is still here, and they can communicate, interact with Sweet LD. So it's
Yeah.
been good.
So is it all of you all, or will it ever do you think you all will come back together and do something like a reunion, or like, how, you know, some people do
Um,
that, some
I
people
never say never because I just don't know. I'm all for it. Me, myself, personally, individually, I would love to do that. We
Mhm.
did go on the Tom Joyner cruise in 2019. Amazing.
Mm.
So it just depends on the other young ladies what they like to do.
Okay.
I put it on
Okay.
them because I'm already for it. I'm already for it. I'm like, let's go.
Like, listen, I'm
Let's
ready
get
to
it
go. I
done.
got my bags packed right now.
I got my bags packed. I got what is it? Your passport. You need your passport. You know, I got everything but the what they call that
Kitchen
the
sink.
vaccine.
I did everything but the kitchen
Yeah, I got
sink.
a mask. I got hand sanitizers and lotions and all kind of stuff. But they want you to have the vaccine depending on where you're going.
Mhm.
So yeah, I don't have that, but I got everything else.
Just
I got everything else. Yeah, I got
He
everything
said,
else.
he
So we
needed
can
a
definitely
few
do
more
it.
minutes. His Zoom call is taking a little bit more. That's fine, and we just gonna keep this conversation rolling because
Oh,
that's
he's still on the
gonna
Zoom call.
Yes, but it's all
Okay.
good,
Mhm.
it's it's life. Things happen, and this is just what we like to do. And, another
So
question.
so right now
Go
he's
ahead, go ahead.
virtually stiff arming me.
Yeah.
See?
Oh!
Well, I need a horn on that. I need a horn.
Oh, yes. Oh, 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 you know
I know
what?
he gonna get me. I know
Yep,
he gonna
he
have
gonna
something to
get
say.
you. He gonna get you. He gonna get you. Chubb Rock is virtually no, I'm just
He
playing.
virtually putting that arm up. You know what I'm saying?
You're like, "Hold on, wait a minute.
Mhm.
We just got friends. We just got friends."
We just got friends now, you know. Mhm.
So, how do you feel the state of entertainment is now? I was gonna wait to ask you that while we can all bounce the idea off, but I wanna go ahead and ask you how you feel the state of entertainment is now.
Um, that's a good question. Let me see. How do I?
Because what I'm doing, I feel like this is what we need in all actuality. Because for one, they're starting not to respect a lot of who came before them, and they're not giving the flowers that need to be given to those who came before them. And it's a lot of things that are not connected, and it's starting to become a disconnection. So that's why I asked the questions that I asked. And once, like I said, once he gets up here, I'm pretty sure it's
I
gonna be.
think to me, the disconnect is not solely on the younger entertainers right now.
Mhm.
I think it's just the change in the way the music is presented, or maybe the goal of entertainment now.
Mhm.
Um, I feel like before it was inclusive in
Mhm.
a way that you wanted to engage with your fans, you wanted them to know about you. The music was a little bit different and a little bit easier to get behind.
Yeah.
You had more of a variety. And I say that because of how I was raised.
Okay.
So I was raised in the 70s, 80s, 90s for the most part. There was always music in our house. So I
Right.
knew who the OJs were. I knew who LTD with Jeffrey Osborne. I knew who Johnny Mathis was. I knew who, the elders were
Right.
of my mother's era, because she played that music. She would share, or whoever she really liked at the time, Smokey Robinson, Marvin Gaye, Shaka Khan, Donna Summers. So I knew who they were. I
Right.
respected that. I understood it's Johnny Taylor, just anybody, James
Oh, I
Brown.
love Mr. Johnny Taylor.
She's Yeah, she's playing all of these people in the home. My stepdad, he thought he could, well, he could sing. Let me take that back. He could sing, God rest his soul. But we had wall heaters, and so he stood in front of the heater and he would just sing, the Dramatics or the Dells, or, what is his name? Teddy Pendergrass. So
Ooh.
I had all of this music in my home. Grand Central Station. Uh, I just said his name. I can't think of it now, but who is it? Atomic Dog, Parliament, Funkadelic, Earth, Wind, and
Mhm.
Fire. We
Mhm.
had that in our home. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So you
Right.
saw all types of music being played. It wasn't just somebody being sexy or
Right.
overly sexual. You just saw the raw talent and the musicality behind the groups. So now
Right.
you move into an era where it's just high energy, and it's hip hop, and it's alternative music. Adam Ant and Culture Club, but you got or Boy George and Culture Club, and then you got Wham with George Michael, but you got who else was out there? It was just a whole bunch that I listened to in high
Right.
school. Prince, you see what I'm saying? So Prince
Mhm.
is out. You got Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston. All of these people, again, musicality. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? And nobody's
Right.
overly
Right.
sexualized. But now you get to this era with the younger children, and we're gonna say our era too. We had a little bit of that sex going on. It was a little hot in the tail.
Just a little.
So you got Jodeci, H Town,
Yeah.
Oaktown 357, Salt and Pepper, EMC Light, Queen Latifah,
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
Fugees, just everybody, Trina, Luke, what is it, Luke, who, Two Live Crew, Ice
Yep.
T.
Yep.
You understand? You see the variety. You
Yeah.
had everybody out. JJ Fad and just NWA, just everybody.
Yeah.
The variety just seemed to carry over.
It was
And
endless.
so I think there was some type of harsh transition that took place after the 90s, and these groups kind of were set aside. You know, you had Brownstone that came in, Janae,
Yeah.
SWV,
Yep.
you know, Mary J. Blige was
Poetry was
there.
poetry out
Poetry, I think
came
they
out
came a little,
later.
yeah, a little later. I might
Yeah.
not be right on that, but you have them ushering in.
Right.
But now we have the younger generation coming up, and they're starting to feel themselves. And instead of not necessarily following suit, but the conversations are a little different. You know,
Yeah.
the things they say and how they say it are a little different. And now we're in 2021, and somehow we didn't carry that over. You know,
Right.
in sharing quality music with them so that they can see the differences. I do share it with my children. And so my sons know about Tina Marie and Rick
Mm.
James, you know, again, my era of music. John Lucien, some people that I've listened to, George, was it Grover Washington, George Benson, stuff like that. You just constantly had music that was um, of an era where people really cared about their musicality and what they could offer. Cameo, I love Cameo.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
Ohio players. So I share that with them, but then you have, listen, I don't know why these children think it's okay to say what they say the way they say it. Okay, because I'm gonna give you the two comparisons people want to compare Juicy to is WAP. And I get the comparison or the connection,
Mhm.
but when I listen to the lyrics of WAP, I'm like, ooh, you know,
That's
ooh,
different.
hey. I'm like, ooh, them little girls, you know, and they little girls to me, but in their womanhood, that's how they feel. And so
Right.
I have to respect that. But
Right.
on the flip side, in my womanhood, I didn't say it that way. My
Right.
attitude might have been, you know what I mean? But I didn't say it that way. But that's the contrast that you have is just you have like a Juicy and then you have a WAP. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You have H Town, but then you got this other young man. I don't want to say no names, but you know he's doing. You know what I'm saying? Just I don't know what it is. I just the things they say I think is what gets me
Right.
and how they're comfortable saying.
And there's no real censorship anymore. It's
You know what did Prince say in International Lover? I mean, you just didn't hear this on the radio. It was,
yeah.
you know, he was very cautious about
Exactly.
that. But if you wanted to hear something, you had to buy the album.
Facts.
You know, Soft and Wet. You knew what Soft and Wet was, but today they gonna tell you how it's a lot. That's all I'm saying. So
It's very visual. Like, they paint
it's
the
beyond
picture.
visual,
Yeah,
child.
they
It's
paint
just
that it's HD 4K.
high definition, 3D, 5G, all of it. So
5G.
is all of it. But I appreciate the creativity. It's just I think sometimes it could just be over too much. I don't
Right.
want to hear about how you woke up and she was giving your brain
Mhm. Mhm.
and then you kicked her to the curb. I don't need that visual. You know what I'm
Facts.
saying? And then you have children who don't understand that. They're listening to it.
Mhm.
Like y'all ain't had this happen to you. Why you even going there.
Yeah.
What is it? I smoke Molly or I pop the Percocets. Really,
That's
people?
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just different. So I don't know where the disconnect came from. I kind of
Mm.
feel like some kind of way we're responsible for it.
Mhm.
But it's different. I don't. I
And
don't.
how do you feel that some of the younger generation say that the older generation is like they're not stepping up as OGs like they used to? They're not um giving them the outlet like they used to, those type of negative impact on, you know,
It
I don't
could be
want to I guess
true.
your generation, but also even before that and where that disconnection was.
I think it could be true. I think maybe just thinking back, maybe the the crack era had a lot to do with it. Maybe it was a survival of the fittest. People are in environments where they feel like, and I'm just saying this from my standpoint, it could be true. We were, even with Oaktown 357, a perfect example is that we were told it's over. This is your last check, and so bye.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're left as individual women, young women. I'm a mother. She's, Terrible T's not, but we're having to figure out how to navigate and deal with something nobody in our families ever had to deal with before.
Wow.
Nobody in our families ever had to deal with that. And so far, the family was supporting us because they saw us touring and making money and having a career that they thought would last. Not sure how it would last because, again, they'd never experienced it before. Wow. So how do they help us recover or bounce back or survive? What resources will we need? Who should we call? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so when you're thrown into that, you're trying to figure out, what do? I have a son. I got bills to pay. I got a car note. I now got to figure out how to move out of my house. Where am I going to live? So it's survival of the fittest. And I think maybe a lot of people in the industry at that time maybe had to go through that, not knowing. Now, this goes back to your point about the elder generation not stepping up. I didn't have my cousin who was from Grand Central Station tell me, hey, watch out for this.
Right. Okay.
She may have been in survival mode too, or maybe felt like maybe I knew better. You know what I'm saying? But she didn't insert herself and say, hey, call this guy because you're going to need help with your taxes, or call this person because you're going to need help with distribution or publishing or whatever. That didn't happen. So there's, 3 generations right there. My cousin, myself, and then my son. He comes into the music industry. Well, now I'm telling him, hey, you can't trust everybody. So my conversation with him is different, but there were elders who probably just didn't know what they needed to say, how to say it, what direction to point us in, because again, this is not something they experienced. And then because we were trying to recover and make sure that we were okay, you don't know that what you have to share is even valuable. Because they put you in a position to make you think that what you had and offered to even make that successful, they gave it to you. So now that they kick you to the curb, you really don't have anything to offer anybody. So you don't say anything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like that was the best way to look at it. We were just put in survival mode immediately. We had already been somewhat in survival mode, just to stay in the organization and do what we did and make sure things happened. We took care of business. But now you're in it in a different way.
Right.
And you're on your own. You can't call these people that you've been working with for 5-6 years and say, hey, who's going to help me with it? They're not trying to hear from you. They want no parts of you. It's like, dude, I've been working with you for 5 to 6 years now. Started with
Is
you.
that the same thing as like feeling blackballed in the industry? If that makes sense.
Oh, for me, yes. For Oaktown 357, yes. Now I'll say that because I know the ladies have said that to me when and I give so much respect to Jeff, to you, to anybody that's wanted to interview and speak with Oaktown 357 via podcast or Zoom or whatever. But in this industry where they quote unquote always pay homage, I haven't seen us invited to, the Soul Train Awards or the BET Awards or whatever.
Right.
So yeah.
We have another special guest in the building.
What's happening?
Hey, what's going on?
How you doing?
Is everything smooth for you guys, or is it kind of choppy?
You sound a little crackly.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now? That should be good.
Yeah.
All right, we got Mr. Chubb.
What's going on?
How y'all doing?
Apologize,
How you
I was
doing?
late.
Oh, we she has something to say about that, and I'll let her tell you.
I'm just glad to see you, my brother. How you doing? You good?
Uh-oh.
I can't hear
his audio. Yeah, I can't hear him either.
Can you guys hear me?
Now you can.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can
I was
hear you
trying
now.
to use my in fact, hold on, wait a second. I'm gonna try something different here. You might as well take a trip with me.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me.
But
I messed up my thing here. Hold on.
uh-oh. I love this podcast, but while we wait, you guys can make
You're doing a
sure
great
you
job.
follow. Thank you. Make sure you follow me, So Hollywood the podcast. Follow myself, MISS Hollywood 313. Follow our guests. You can tell them where to follow you. Well, actually, it is. Let me get that. It is Sweet LD 357.
Yes.
You said what? I'm sorry.
No, I just said yes.
Oh, okay. We're
Sweet
just
LD
waiting on him.
is correct.
LD and then Chubb Live, CHUBBLIVE. We are on Facebook now. We are on Twitch now. We are also on YouTube. So shout out to all of us and shout out to making changes right away. Hold on, we're gonna I love it. I just
Getting
love
it
it.
together.
Right. Oh my gosh. But what were we talking about? We were talking about the younger generation as well. Just, I guess accepting the fact that it's something that came before
Ah,
them and they need to understand
ladies,
that
ladies, ladies.
Hello.
We
Hello.
see if this works better.
Okay. Hold on, y'all. We're getting it together. All right, I can hear it. Yeah. What? Hold on, I'm sorry, y'all. This. To be a guest
Ladies,
on So Hollywood the podcast, just email
wow, this doesn't work better.
SoHollywoodThePodcast.com or
One,
follow me on
so you
Instagram.
guys can hear me,
Yes. And MISS Hollywood 313.
but I can't hear you like this.
You can't hear us?
And I
You
don't
can't
know
hear
why. Well, that's the end of that.
It didn't work.
He said, well, that's the end of that.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I know it didn't work the last time.
I literally can't hear you guys.
You can't?
Sorry.
Oh no.
Does he have to turn his mic? Well, his mic is on because we can hear him.
Yes, correct. His mic is on.
Check your volume.
Yes.
I don't hear a word you guys are saying.
Check your volume.
He can't hear us.
I have no idea.
Oh man.
Let me leave and come back in.
Okay.
Okay. Oops, I popped them. I'm sorry.
Ah! I heard that.
I'm gonna take it out because I'll do it again.
But while we wait, I don't know
Take
why we
that
couldn't
out.
hear him.
Huh?
No, I said I don't know why we couldn't hear him, but it's all good, things happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually, it's 45 after. But later on today, I do want to remind you guys that I will have DJ Nastiness up here. So I'm bringing out all the legends, everybody that you guys need to hear about, the backstory behind them all, how they feel about our current excuse me, the current state of this thing called entertainment, and just trying to give you guys a better understanding of where you guys came from. Literally where you guys came from, because the samples you use now,
Yeah,
like
that's true.
so much stuff that you use from these guests that we have on the show, or that I have on the show now. So you guys gotta respect them, and you guys gotta give them their flowers while they're still here, because it's very, 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 very important. It's very important.
Yeah.
And with that being said, I wanted to ask y'all about that. Like, how do you feel about um people giving, how do you feel about receiving your flowers and people not giving you your flowers?
Um, I guess I get confused. Like, there could be an era of music at a time that we were part of that era, and you're acknowledging artists from that time, but when we're not included or involved, I'm like, well, what happened? Because I know we was in the studio. I know we have videos that are still being played. I know our music is still being played on the radio. So how is it that we're not included or invited? And then I've heard people literally say, well, they might not know where you guys are, that you're still available or still active. I'm like, there's Google. Everybody Googles everything and everybody now. And then you have social media that they suggest you should have: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or whatever. You have these things, and yet still, I mean, we're not at the BET Awards. And that's,
Right.
I'm just trying to
Not being
understand that part.
celebrated.
You know what I mean? I'm trying to figure out what that's about. But on the flip side of it, when you see that your peers, per se, are who are showing up to these events, they're being invited, they're being included, that's part of it. But then you have fans who are constantly like, oh my God, we love you guys. When are you guys coming back? When you're going to have a reunion, or so-and-so just did this show here. How come you guys weren't there? Or even when Hammer has toured, and he's been touring everywhere. Well, how come he didn't have you guys on it? I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't know. We're here. So it feels odd because you have fans, like I said, who are like loving the group. They still remember the group. Our music is still being played, videos still being played, so on and so forth. But then you have people who are still industry who are like, where are they now? Really? If I wanted to know where Chubb Rock is, or anybody, I'm gonna Google. I went to get my hair done the other day, and I was guy on TV. I was like, I wonder how old he is. We Googled.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You
So
Google anything else? Like, why won't you just?
it's like, so the reality shows for hip hop females who are coming back, or this, that, and the other. Like, how do you not know? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's my only thing. It's like, it's kind of odd to reconcile it, because you have people who are in the industry that you grew up with, toured with, you know what I mean? And then you got fans who are like, hey, where are you guys? So it's just really kind of strange on that level. Yeah.
Did you hear the question?
Sweet LD.
Hey.
Yeah, I apologize for the technical difficulties. I'm not at the studio, so I had to come back home, and I was in another Zoom, and I don't know what happened to my phone. My phone speaker is not working, so I keep trying to plug in this Bluetooth, and it ain't working. So I apologize.
Oh, that's okay. I just explained to her you were stiff-arming me
Yeah. For sure.
Every now and then I got to put the phone to my ear, but let me tell you, I don't want LD to think, yo, Chubb is still in 1990 with the technology. What's going on with him? Baby girl will tell you that I'm better than this. I'm better.
Say that again. What did he say?
Okay, it's just for whatever reason today the moons weren't aligned today. I called LD after you gave me her number.
Yes. Okay. Let's get into it.
I was like, how you gonna tell her that I stopped you at the gate? I was like, what are you talking about? Is that what you're telling your husband? He's like, yo, what's going on with my boy Chubb? What's going on with my boy Chubb? And I'm like, because remember I told you, I said, yo, I only opened for Hammer twice, and I don't remember meeting them. I remember seeing them on stage, of course, but I was like, I don't even remember this. But she had to clarify that it wasn't back then.
Okay.
It was like 4 or 5 years ago when we did a show with my boy D. Ellis.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she came to the show, and then and the only thing I can remember is I do remember one time when I was at a show and I had a cold. This is before COVID, and I had a cold, and people would come and want to take pictures, and I'd be like, hey, I can't take pictures with you right now. I got a cold. I don't want to give you that. That's the only explanation, and I'm sticking to it. I'm sticking to that explanation. You know what I'm saying? And she said, and she told me she was going to accept that explanation.
On what condition? On what
So-
condition did I say?
Uh-oh.
Oh no, you said the condition was let me try to remember.
Yes, please tell us.
If what happened?
I said yes, please tell us.
I'm trying to remember what the condition was. It had to be as long as, but if we see each other again, was well, clearly it wouldn't happen again.
Right.
What was the condition?
The condition was, and you have half of it right, but the next time I see you, you have to give me a hug.
Oh,
That I had to do what?
You have to give me a hug the next time I see you.
There you go.
uh-oh.
There you go. There you go.
So when is that gonna happen?
And that would have happened 4 or 5 years ago, but I have no idea. Because I had to tell my brother that story. I said, she said it was this. Did I do that? Because I know I don't do stuff like that. And he was like, yo, you probably was sick and you didn't. Because he said the same thing I said. He said there had to be some real circumstances for that.
Okay.
Because even D. Ellis would have got at me. Yo, boy, what are you doing?
I told him, I don't know what happened, but I remember that. I do. I remember that.
Man, it's you know,
I'm
and
just
and
saying.
it all had to come out on SoHollywood.
Yeah.
Right? It all had to come out on SoHollywood. And she probably thought, oh snap, Chubb is Hollywood. He's Hollywood right now. He doesn't want to blah blah blah. Then he comes up on the joint late. His microphone and his audio doesn't work.
Or he
And blah,
rescheduled.
blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
You know,
I'm in
like
this massage chair
Yes.
and all of that. And
it's all good.
Shoot, that's my queen right there.
Oh,
Beautiful.
I don't even know if I can point to it. But yeah, I was telling Sweets that definitely it would be good to see her again, because whenever you can see your family, your people,
see,
and I think of people in this genre as our family, right?
Yes.
right.
It ain't but so many of us.
Right.
And unfortunately, we're losing some of our family and stuff like that. So, you know, it's always good to see your family, that they're safe, they're doing well.
Yeah.
And that's why I was telling baby girl that I wanted to do this again, because I was like, yo, I got a chance to speak to her, but I wanted to see her, you know, and and so she could see it, because, you know, you can't lie to a woman. All she got to do is look in your eyes and be like, oh, he's talking bullshit. He's talking bullshit. So I figured, let me just get on here and tell her, yo,
so I can look him in his
know
eyes.
Right.
the scenario.
Right.
You know, got love for all they did. Because let me tell you, it couldn't have been easy on that Hammer tour, man. Because that Hammer tour, people were burning 9,000 calories on that stage in that Hammer tour. Because I remember when we were opening for him, like the first time, it was because somebody got sick, and I can't remember exactly who it was, because I know Tony was on that show also.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a chance to just watch the show. Like, this was my first time seeing Hammer on stage, and that whole production, like that full production with Oaktown, the band, like everything that was going on.
Yeah.
I remember looking at it like, yo, I'm losing weight just looking at it, because it had to be a $10,000 calorie show every time. You know,
every night.
I mean, he ran a serious show.
Yeah.
You know, that was a serious show. I don't think there's been a show like that in hip hop ever since.
I don't know. It would be hard to say, but I do know dance was very important to the artists back then. Dance, the energy, the projection, it was important to everybody. So whatever style you felt like you wanted to share with the people at the show, you just did it. You know, Bobby Brown did it, you know, to 100. With Heavy D and the Boys, you know, you just, whatever you brought, you wanted it to be 100. But I remember when we first started out, the point that Hammer wanted to make is that everybody underestimates us. Nobody likes us coming from the West Coast. And so when we hit that stage, I don't want you to leave anything off. And then the other aspect to that was once we finished the show, he always reviewed video. Once he started videotaping the show, he would review the video on the tour bus. So we would all sit watch it, and he had an eye, and he would say, "Okay, LD, you're tired right there," or "Ace, you know, you misstepped," or "Terrible T, whatever." And he would say even to himself, he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna do that move, but I'm gonna change a little bit in the next show," or any of those things. It was always a review of the show, and so we had that opportunity where we could come away from the show and nobody messed up. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's energy was on 1,000 because you knew that critique was coming. And then eventually, when he grew his stage presentation with all the dancers, I always said it was 10,000 dancers and 2 DJs and 2 keyboard players, and it was his everybody. We actually had to teach them the choreography so that they can make that transition. It would stay smooth, the energy would stay high. You know what I'm saying? But they understood what was expected when they stepped on that stage. So he was always like, "We have something to prove, and this is our opportunity." So when you come off that stage, anybody that's watching, side of the stage, backstage, or in front of it, he wanted all of them to feel it. Yeah.
That's
You know what's
amazing.
interesting? Do you think that they will ever be, if Hammer, you think Hammer will ever do somewhat of a reunion type of run where, him, his whole crew, Oaktown obviously, and his whole crew to go back and do a tour? I know he was doing some shows not too long ago with like Vanilla Ice and like, kind of that kind of thing. But do you think he would do some more of what he used to do from back in the day?
I don't know. I think that, to be honest, people are looking for that. They want MC Hammer and the posse. You know, they want to see MC Hammer and Oaktown 357 and BNGB and, 2 big MCs, the hype man. They want to see that, but I don't know where Hammer is, emotionally and mentally with that being something he would actually entertain doing. I really do not know. I know it's been expressed to us several times that when people have gone to see his shows recently in the last maybe 5 to 10 years, they thought they were going to see in Oaktown 357 because it would be like the Hammer house party, and he would have artists on that house party tour. So they thought Oaktown 357 was going to be part of that, and we weren't there. And some folks were disappointed, but I mean, I just don't know. I think it would be fabulous, to do that, even if it's one of those things where his whole show is MC Hammer and the posse, and he has some of the newest dancers that he had, and then the old ones. But we might 30 seconds of a song, you know what I'm saying, or 1 minute of a song, but just let that whole thing happen for people to actually see us again. So I don't know. I would love for it to take place. I really would, but I just don't know where he is with that.
Yeah, that would be good because we do a lot of shows now. Well, we've always been doing them. We do a lot of old school shows because the old school show circuit is really strong.
Yeah.
Very strong. But there's certain shows you would love to always see, right? Like MC Hammer show. And that's if you experienced it back then.
Yeah.
Because if you experienced it back then, you're like, yo, I would love to see that again.
Yeah.
If you experienced it.
If
like I said, I experienced it.
And you're familiar with it, they definitely want to see it. But I just feel like there's an energy with all the artists that came from that era. And to your point, when he said we're family, that's how I feel because we grew up together. We toured at some point together. But just knowing and learning that industry, pretty much as children, 16, 17, 18, 20, 22, 23. I was 2 or 23 when I got involved. But we grew up learning and touring and performing with each other and exchanging that energy on that circuit. So when you have certain artists there, then it's like almost like, as he said, the tours are happening now. Old school tours are really popular, and you have certain acts that are going to make it happen. They're constantly on tour. The story is still kind of vacant when you don't see those that were part of your childhood story.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying? So yeah, I listen to Chubb Rock, but I also listen to 2 Live Crew. Where are they performing? Or NWA or JJ Fad or whatever. So I think it's really important for us to really be considerate and inclusive of everybody. If you have the connection, if you have the network, reach out. Lady of Rage reached out to us to go on the what is it? Tom Jordan cruise. Lady of Rage. I met her at the show. For the first time I met her was at the show that we did with Chubb in North Carolina. That was the first time I ever met her. But she's really close to D. Ellis. D. Ellis loves me, and Oaktown 357 and MC Hammer. So when they said on the Tom Jordan cruise, hey, we want to invite some people who have never been before, she called us. Wow. So you understand what I'm saying? She came out a little bit after Oaktown 357. She had no problem picking up the phone, to say, hey, what are you guys doing?
Lady of Rage called me yesterday. Because she started with us. She came in the game with us.
Okay.
And because when I met her, she was the secretary at Chungking Studios.
Wow.
And we were producing the Vanessa Quince album, and I kept coming into the studio, seeing her writing behind the studio desk because she worked at the studio. So I said, yo, what are you doing? And she was like, oh, I'm writing rhymes. And I was like, let me hear what you got. And she told me, I was like, oh, she's dope. So I put her on the Vanessa Quince album, and then I put her on the Treat 'Em Right album.
See?
And that's how we became friends. So she just came to Atlanta because she's shooting a movie here right now.
Okay.
And I'm the one who got her on the Tom Joyner cruise.
Right.
Because we were doing all of that stuff with Tom Joyner. But it's funny, in November 7th, I'm doing Detroit with JJ Fad. And I've never met those ladies in my life. So I'm excited to see them, because obviously I bumped those records. Those records were monumental records.
Right.
And I have the opportunity to my first time meeting them in Detroit. And obviously I'm hoping that they're going to be going out more and more and more and more and more and more, because I think a lot of people don't realize that circuit exists.
Yes.
They probably don't know, like, yo, Cats is out there all day. I mean, COVID slowed it up a little.
Yeah.
But Cats is out there, doing old school shows, and people want to see that. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, no disrespect to none of the young guys and whatever they're doing in their records, but people that either went to HBCUs, college, people that went to high school, they grew up with those records. They want to go to those. Yes, they might love Earth, Wind, and Fire. Earth, Wind, and Fire is back out. They'll go see them. Some of them might even go. Obviously, a bunch of them go to see Frankie Beverly. But a ton of that audience,
Isley Brothers,
wants to see that old school. They want to see that hip hop. And of course they want to see MC Hammer, but they want to see his whole crew.
They want to see the whole crew. Yeah,
JJ
has been touring for a while. I know that for a fact. And then Hammer's been touring for a while. So it's not that the opportunity is not there. That's not at all what I'm saying. I'm saying where are the phone calls? Because I personally don't have the connection. You know what I'm saying? So somebody that I know who knows me has to say, hey, LD, they have this show and wherever, we'd love to have you guys on. Ladies and see, but JJ Fad's been busy for the last, I would say, 8 to 10 years, if not more. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's absolutely beautiful, because we need more women of that era doing the shows. But if you see the JJ Fads, or if you see the Moni Loves, or if you see the, Salt and Peppers or whatever, who else was being played on the radio at that time? Who else's video was being played at that time? 5-7, we were in the clubs, on the videos, on the stages, we were there. So I just find it interesting, you know what I mean? And if you're going to separate the acts and say, well, MC Hammer's touring, but he don't have nothing to do with Oaktown 357 to say yes or no, we can or cannot. He's not that person anymore, you know what I'm saying? So, it's a question for me. Like, why is that not happening? Again, I can't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? I can't stress about it. I do have the life to live. I have children to raise. Well, I got one more. He's gonna be 17, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I got stuff I could be doing. So, in order to keep my sanity and myself healthy, let me teach my fitness dance classes, let me write my book, and let me do my wellness, health and wellness. So that's what I'm doing. Yeah.
You know what's interesting to me?
Yes, honey. Because I'll be 60 in a few years. I got to be cute.
Right. I'll be 38 on
having
October 24th, by the way. Oh, well, go ahead.
we're having this conversation with SoHollywood, and it always, like, even when I spoke to her last week,
Yeah.
and then we're speaking to her now, it's shocking to me because, and I know black don't crack, right? Because LD looked like she's 28 or whatever, but SoHollywood here, she looks like she's still an embryo, and she doesn't have a clue of what we're talking about because she looked like she's about 18.
I appreciate
And that time of late 80s, early 90s,
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking 30 years ago at this point.
Yeah.
We're talking 30 years. So, it always, people hit me on about podcasts, because they want to know more of the little intricate stuff on the shows, back in the day stories.
Yeah.
But I always wonder, like, hey, man, if we start talking about that stuff, do you understand what we're talking about? Because you might be young, you might be a lover of hip hop, but I got a couple of T-shirts older than Baby Girl over here. You know what I'm saying? So, I know she probably gets a kick out of this, like, yo. But I hope that we see each other soon.
Yes.
My main thing was that it was just good to see your people and to be able to know that they're good, and God will do the rest.
Yeah.
The Queens of Hip Hop is always something that I've been a fan of. The Queens of Hip Hop, and that's a small sorority, right? As far as back in the day, it might be 21 queens that's part of that whole Queens of Hip Hop time. And Oaktown is part of that. JJ Fad, of course, Salt and Pepper, MC Light, Lady of Rage, and it keeps going on.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe BT or maybe SoHollywood or somebody needs to maybe do that documentary and kind of tell that story a little better of the Queens of Hip Hop, even from Mercedes Ladies to Sequence to the Sha-Rock, that whole story of female MCs, because you don't really get that story from female MCs, right?
Right.
And females that were so intricate in the world of hip hop, whether through dance, microphone stuff, all of that. You just don't get that story the way I guess you should. They might tell. I don't even think they ever really told a real Queen Latifah story or Missy Elliott story, to be honest with you. So I don't know. I just think that's missing somewhere. Hey, I can throw it out in the universe and see what happens.
Yes. I'm ready.
You ready to take it over? Take it over.
Listen, I'm ready. I'm so ready for it.
Make it happen. No, I'm glad we were able to do this because, again, I don't know when I'll see Chubb and my big brother over there who's trying to stiff arm me virtually, and
right.
All that stuff. I don't know when I'll see him again, but it's been really amazing for me to see him on this platform and have a conversation outside of the phone call that we had, and just to know, like he said, that your family's doing good, they're doing good, and that the love is still there. That's also important, you know what I'm saying? But for that hip hop family of that time, that's a community there, and we need to take care of each other.
Facts.
Yeah.
For sure. I believe that 100%. And it took me to bring you guys together and and really push forward with this thing called entertainment. And hopefully, we will see you guys on stage together really soon, and we're gonna see it through. So whenever y'all ready, let me know, and I'll connect some more dots. 'Cause I'm ready for it. I'm
I'm ready.
definitely ready for
You know I'm ready.
it.
I appreciate you guys.
No problem, man. This is
It's good
amazing.
to
Like,
see LD.
Yes.
I told her that I got a number now, so I can always bother her.
yes,
And if I'm in Texas and stuff like that,
Come
in
on
Dallas,
down. Yes.
and same thing if she ever comes to Atlanta.
mm,
And I'm gonna bother SoHollywood when I come to Virginia.
yes. Y'all
And
heard it. Y'all heard it.
yeah, but I appreciate you guys connecting the dots. I wanted to make it clear,
Yes, yes,
okay, that I was not Hollywood
Okay.
when LD came. I want to make sure everybody watching knows that. You
yes.
know what I'm saying? I want to make sure her husband knows that. You know what I'm saying? I want to make sure her son knows that. You know what I'm saying? All of that. So
Yes,
I
sir.
just want to put it out there.
Okay,
But
I'll clarify, but you know what your assignment is not.
it's good to see you. I love you.
Love you too.
Thank
Stay
you
safe out
all.
there.
Thank you all. And make sure to follow. Go ahead and give your social media and all the information that you have, anything that you're working on, and your shout outs. And then we're gonna leave it at that. And I appreciate you guys for tuning in and just even being a part of this thing called entertainment and just this growth that I'm about to have, and it's about to be great. So Sweet
Yes.
LD, let's start with you first, and then we're gonna end off excuse me with Chubb. We friends now, so I'm gonna call you Chubb. Sorry.
Sweet
Go ahead.
LD 357 is the Instagram, the Facebook. Official Oaktown 357 is the Instagram page. So I'm here. I'll let my book is out, and y'all just stay healthy. Okay, love you.
Appreciate you. And you,
Chubb
Chubb.
Live for me, CHUBBLIVE on Instagram and Facebook. Chubb Rock on Facebook. And hey, this is great. This is great.
Yeah.
Get a
Yes.
chance to see your family. Also, send me the link to the SoHollywood merch so I can get my shirt. I can
Oh,
buy my shirt.
okay. Okay, I got you. I got you covered. I got you covered. And I really appreciate everybody for tuning in across
Oh,
the
she got.
board. My podcast shirt, I make this. This is the things that I make. So I'll send you guys all the merch and everything that I make thereafter. But other than that, we're gonna end it off like this. This is a wonderful situation, and I want you guys to see the growth that we have and the people coming together that brought it before you. So give them their flowers while they're here, like I'm doing, and continue to enjoy this ride called So Hollywood Podcast. And we up out of here. I appreciate you guys. Y'all have a good day.
Peace and blessings.
Thank
Bye.
y'all. Bye.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you.
Oh, so Hollywood. Oh my goodness. Did y'all see that? Did y'all see what the fuck just happened? Hello? Did y'all see what the fuck your girl just did? You understand me? Did you see that? Did you see it? Bring the legends together instead of talking shit about them. They are OGs for a reason, and vice versa. Grow, adapt, and elevate. All of those. Y'all saw it here first. 2 previous guests that I've had on this show come together, and now big things are about to start happening. Y'all don't understand, man. This is real life for me. This is the end all be all situation right now. So Hollywood the podcast. Make sure you guys follow me. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, to this video. I will be on Facebook Live. I am on Twitch. I am also on YouTube. Get your merch today. because it's the Hollywood way. No, I'm just playing. And make sure you guys follow me, MISS Hollywood 313. And tune in about another 2 hours. Actually, I have another legend by the name of DJ Nastiness. Yes, so back to back. Listen, I got him in the chamber. I just shot 2 off. I got one more. Yep. 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today. I have my special guest, DJ Nasty Nest. So make sure you guys tune in at 5 p.m. and keep it locked. Set your reminders because I'm gonna set up a live reminder here shortly. So yeah, make sure you guys just like, share, subscribe, follow, tell your homie, word of mouth, whatever you want to call it. Do what you gotta do to make it make it. You understand me? Peace up, A-Town down.